is not a test. This is rock and roll. Time to rock it from the Delta to the DMZ. Is that me or does that sound like an Elvis Presley movie? Viva Da Nang. Oh, Viva Da Nang. Da Nang me. Why don't they get a rope and hang me? Hey, is it a little too early for being that loud? Hey, too late. It's 0600. What's the O stand for? Oh, my God, it's early. Speaking of early, how about that Cro-Magnon, Marty Drywitz? Thank you, Marty, for silky smooth sound. Make me sound like Peggy Lee. Freddie and the Dreamers.
Wrong speed. We've got it on the wrong speed. For those of you who are recovering from a hangover, that's going to sound just right.
Let's pull it right back down again. Let's try a little faster, see if that picks it up a little bit. Let's get up on 17. Those pilots are going right now. I really like the music. I really like the music. Oh, still a bad song. Hey, wait a minute. Let's try something. Let's play this backwards and see if it gets any better. Freddy is a devil. Freddy is a devil. Hey, hi, can you help me? What's your name?
Xin Chao. I'm Mr. Reeves. You know, thanks to the Teach Now platform, it really is a small world after all. I live in Vietnam with my wife and our 3-year-old son, Kenny. For 6 years, we lived in Ho Chi Minh City, a.k.a. Saigon, where I enjoyed my 90-minute commute to work every day. That was fun. Now we live in beautiful Da Nang, and boy is it hot. But it's a tropical heat, so you barely notice it. This is my favorite place, Marble Mountain. It's a large complex of Buddhist cave temples just 8 minutes from our house. This is the Dragon Bridge. It breathes fire and water. We like driving around on our motorbike in the cool nights, looking for fun stuff. And Da Nang never disappoints. Occasionally, I might get pulled over by the cops, but they are always polite and usually don't speak any English. So they let me go, maybe with a little persuasion, and everybody is happy. Vietnam's constitution guarantees citizens the right to free speech. However, being a communist system, there are of course limitations. Rather than outright banning some things, the government prefers the path of censorship. All in all, I have to say, I feel like I have a lot more freedom here than in most Western countries. Working as a teacher in Vietnam is not a problem. At least 40% of ESL teachers work on a tourist visa and make regular visa runs. To get a work permit, you need to have a CELTA or a TEFL and a BA, which is the minimum hiring requirement for international schools as well. After your company gets you a work permit, getting a temporary residence card is a snap. I wanted to briefly mention a few government initiatives to demonstrate that the Ministry of Education and Training is making strides to improve the quality of public education in Vietnam. Specifically, the National Education for All initiative, and I quote, "To extend access to affordable and quality lower secondary education to all children, especially ethnic minorities, disadvantaged groups, and girls. Furthermore, to implement ongoing new curriculum reforms." Secondly, back in 2015, while I was a manager at a language academy in Saigon, I worked on the 2020 initiative. MOET sought to certify 80,000 Vietnamese English teachers in public schools according to the CEFR, Common European Framework of Reference, at the B1 and B2 levels by 2020. Teachers could do this by submitting qualifying scores in IELTS, TOEFL, or FCE. In order to reach this goal, the bar was lowered by introducing a new, easier test called the JETSET. I worked as a JETSET teacher and examiner. Since leaving my job in 2016, I don't know what has become of this program. The main focus of this law report concerns what I am allowed and not allowed to teach as a social sciences teacher at my school. I was told I am never allowed to teach Vietnamese history, about the Vietnam-American War in particular. I wanted to know if there were any exceptions and where could I find this law in writing. So to get to the bottom of this, I asked around to try to find an expert in this area. I learned that our HR manager has a law degree, but at first she had no idea. She basically told me that it is ultimately between our CEO and the government. I came back a day later and she had located this website for me, where I downloaded the document, which I will skim through now. This document, number 86/2018/NDCP, is basically the operational guidelines for foreign financed and operated international schools. International schools have to follow the same guidelines as the official government curriculum used in public schools. Article 3 includes provisions of laws which are not included here, wherein specifications on security, defense, politics, and religion would be stated clearly. Maybe. Article 7 refers to integrated education, that is, bilingual mixed curriculums, as the responsibility of the Ministry of Education and Training, same as public schools, and it sets a standard for foreign teachers who must have a BA and a CELTA, TEFL, TESOL. Article 9 refers to outlines of curriculums and applications which have to be submitted in written form for a request for approval, which would include regular reports and occasional auditing of the institution. Article 17 is what I was really looking for, so I'll just read it. Foreign training programs conducted in Vietnam are programs which have been accredited for the quality education in the host countries or recognized by competent educational bodies of the host countries for the quality of education. That might be a typo. Does not contain contents that are detrimental to national defense, national security, or community interest, not spreading religion, distorting history. It does not adversely affect the culture, ethics, fine customs, and traditions of Vietnam, and must ensure the conditions for transfer among the training levels. So there are actually no specifications in this document what can be taught and what cannot be taught. It basically has to be approved from a written application from the school, and this takes a very long time. Article 37, Section 8, suspension and termination rules for infractions. And then this one's interesting. Decisions on dissolution or termination of operation of educational institutions must clearly state the reasons for dissolution, termination of operation. Measures to ensure the legal rights of learners, teachers, administrators, and personnel, and must be publicly available on the mass media. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means that if they shut you down, they want to shame you on the internet. I really don't get that. Then Chapter 5, responsibilities of the Ministry of Education and Training and Enforcement, which I mentioned auditing and reports and sending their liaisons to all of your important functions and regular inspections and all of that kind of thing. In conclusion, it's like I originally suspected. It's kind of an unwritten rule. Most schools won't include anything that they think will be rejected in their applications because the application process takes so long. They really don't check up that often, but it really is ultimately a deal between the owners, operators, administrators of an institution and the government. So, thank you for sitting through my little video, Vietnam. It's been a long time, and we'll see you next time. Xin chào.